everyone and welcome back to my channel. So I'm very aware that everyone is in the same boat right now, and it is a boat that's very far away from everyone else, and it's a very kind of weird, scary, uncertain situation that we're all going through. I think, sorry, I've got hair. Ew. That's the problem with wearing lip gloss, it gets stuck to everything. Anyway, so it is a very uncertain time, and I think it's only right that as an assistant psychologist here on YouTube that I kind of address this and kind of bring to you guys what I've been bringing to some of our clients, and that is how to maintain our well-being while being isolated. And this is something that goes against every recommendation for people who are going through mental health struggles. It is also known to induce mental health problems as well. And so in this time, I think, as well as people addressing physical health, and of course that's kind of the priority right now because that is what is killing people, we also need to be aware of how we can help people with their well-being and ourselves, because I'm not gonna lie, I've struggled with my well-being during this time. I'm working from home a lot and it's difficult not having a routine, not being around people, and being taken away from what I was so comfortable with. And bear in mind, I only started my job in January, so I was just getting used to things, and so then to have been uprooted and then moved to working at home, it is just a big change. I can really understand how this can be so testing for people who have mental health issues, because for someone who hasn't struggled with mental health issues in a very long time, it's hard still. And so this video is for everyone, not just for people who have a diagnosis or people who recognise themselves that they are more anxious than the normal person or have more low mood than the normal person. This is literally for everyone, because everyone is being taught how to wash their hands properly, everyone is being taught that self-isolation is key, but what people aren't being taught is how to protect their mental well-being and their mental health. So that's what I'm here for. I hope this video in a way can take your mind off of what's going on, but also to show you ways and how to make the best out of this situation that we're all in. My first tip is to keep a routine. It's going to be different for everyone. Some people are working from home, some people have been made redundant unfortunately, and some people, retail workers, some of them like people who work at Topshop, obviously Topshop's not open so they're all at home doing nothing. It will depend on what you're doing in life with this whole thing going on, but for people who are working from home, still wake up and go to work at 9 o'clock, be there, get ready for the day, showered, your makeup, get changed, do all of it so that you have that routine in place. And also in terms of your food, have a breakfast, a lunch break, a tea break, and obviously your dinner, but make sure you have that routine in place because it will make you feel like you have more of a sense of purpose, I guess, and a reason to get up in the morning if you have a routine. I think a routine is really comforting in a time when everything is so uncertain. Now obviously if you don't have a 9-to-5 job that you are doing at home, then you can still have a routine. You can still get ready at a certain time, you can still go out for a walk at a certain time, you can still prepare your meals at a certain time. And this kind of leads me on to my next point of having a list of things to do. And this list is just going to help you in those moments where you do find yourself twiddling your thumbs and kind of just wondering, oh, what should I do now? I've done everything. Having this list in place is going to be quite helpful, and it should include things that you love doing, even chores. You could easily fill your whole day with cleaning the house. It might not be the nicest of activities, but it's going to keep you busy, and I think being busy is a very important part of our well-being because it does give us a sense of purpose, which is a very kind of westernized idea of being busy and that giving us our purpose, but I'm not going to go into that. So having a list, which could include like reading, colouring, doing some knitting, some crocheting. I've started crocheting again on the weekend. Baking, gardening. Just have a little think about what you've always wanted to do and do it in this time, and that can fill up your day, and use that to form a basis for your routine. My next tip is to be physically active, and I know everyone gets told to do this and we probably don't listen to this advice enough, but it is so essential for your mental health to just get moving. It releases those endorphins, and it just a bit of exercise has never, well, it has hurt people when they've gone overboard, but it's always helpful. You never regret going to the gym, you never regret going out for a walk, you never regret going for a run, you never regret it. That's the thing. You may not want to do it initially, but by the end of it you feel so much better, and so schedule that into your routine as well. And there is so many resources on YouTube. If you're watching my video now, I guarantee you know that there are Pilates videos out there, you know that there's yoga videos out there, there's kickboxing videos, everything. If you know how to use YouTube, then I know for a fact that you know how to find exercise videos. So don't use that as an excuse, okay, that you can't be active because you can't go outside and you can't go to the gym. And also, you are allowed to go outside once a day. That can be a run, that can be a long walk. I don't know whether you're actually allowed to do exercise in the parks. I mean, I probably wouldn't, because I'm genuinely trying to stay away from as many people as possible, so I'm not even taking my dog to the park. There's loads of different ways to stay active, and I mean, even gardening is an active thing that you can do, and it's not just for older people. I love gardening, it's really fun, you can really get into it. Like, I don't know if it's just me, but I think the idea of being able to like grow my own potatoes and tomatoes is really cool. I haven't started yet, but I have found videos online where you can like grow potatoes in bags, and it's honestly like blowing my mind, so I might do that. Try and get physically active. It releases those feel-good hormones, and it also is good for your physical health, obviously, not only because it helps your heart and stuff and it makes you fitter, but also it helps your immune system. The key to fighting things like the virus is having a good immune system, so exercise. Now, I know we all are hopefully self-isolating, but you can still stay in contact with your friends and family, and this is really important not only for yourself but for other people. You really want to be there for other people in this time, just like you want other people to be there for you. So pick up the phone, drop someone a text. Apps like Zoom, WhatsApp, I think you can do group chats and stuff, obviously Skype, loads and loads of different things where you can connect with your friends and family. And I also had this really good idea of maybe starting like writing letters to your friends and like go super old school. But even for like your grandparents, like that's something that they could do and they have done in the past. I know my grandparents, they probably wouldn't be able to use FaceTime and stuff. Find ways to communicate with people and use that support, because while we are physically isolated, it doesn't mean that we have to be socially isolated as well, especially in this modern day. So really use this time to reconnect with people. Now, as tempting as it may be to feel really down about the things we're missing out on or the events that have been cancelled, so annoying for those people who bought tickets. I know I'd be absolutely gutted, and so I really do feel for you guys, and I know how much that can like bring your mood down. But in the same way, like my birthday, it was just last week, and obviously I couldn't go out to see my friends, couldn't go out for dinner or anything. So there is this sense of kind of just like, why is this happening? And it is really upsetting, and you can get sucked into the hole of being ungrateful for what we have. So this tip is to be grateful. It's hard when you have mental health issues, I get that, but that's why it could be put into your routine. So if you put into your routine that every morning you'll write 3-5 things that you're grateful for, if you're forcing yourself to do it, then it will hopefully change your perspective a bit on life and the way things are going for you. That can be as simple as, I'm grateful for my coffee, I'm grateful for waking up this morning, I'm grateful for being able to move, because these are things that we really take for granted. People do die in their sleep. People do have life-changing things like strokes that can happen in a split second and take everything away from you. And so what I'm really urging you to do is just be grateful for the things that you do take for granted. Like, we do take for granted the fact that we're waking up every morning. Like, that is great. Like, that's, to me, it's incredible that I am 23 now, and so I'm not very good at maths, but that has just been, imagine how many days of my body getting me up each day and working the way it should. Like, it's had 23 years. Imagine how many chances or possibilities there were for me not to have woken up. It is just putting things into perspective, and also the fact that, yes, we are self-isolating, but think of the people who have to go to work and work on the front line, and think of the postmen, think of your postman, think of your corner shop and the people who work in there, think of the Tesco's that you go to and the Sainsbury's and the people who work there. You should be grateful that you are not being forced to go to work right now, and if you are, I mean, thank you, and you are amazing, and I just pray for your health and for your protection. But that is also what we need to keep in mind. Like, yes, it is so horrible being stuck at home, and it is so hard for well-being, but if we just take a step back and be grateful for the fact that, firstly, we don't have the virus, secondly, we don't have to go outside and work amid all of this, and thirdly, it is going to get better. We have to just be grateful, guys. So that is what I want you to also practice, is some gratitude. Another tip would be to not watch the news all the time. I found myself doing this, especially in the early days of the virus, and it's not helpful at all, because you get sucked into this echo chamber of just fear and doom. And one thing you don't realise is that, yes, all of the deaths are being announced on a daily basis, but what people aren't announcing are the amount of people who are recovering. If you are going to look at the news, limit yourself to maybe once a day. If not, maybe have just days where you don't look at the news at all, because I've been doing that recently and it has really helped, by just having off days where I'm not listening to the news at all. Because let's face it, the news isn't really changing that much. What you need to pay attention to is the NHS guidance and what the government are telling you to do, because that is what counts. It's not about the numbers of people dying. Yes, that is important, but it's only going to cause you to panic more. You do have to be very careful with what you choose to tune into, because that can really, really affect your well-being. This goes back to my first point of having a routine. It's really important that you get the correct amount of sleep, and I think in this time we're probably more likely to have more sleep than less. But the problem with that is that still can make you feel quite crappy. Obviously, the recommended amount of sleep is 8 to 9 hours, I think. And anything more than that is a bit too much. And I know for me, I can definitely feel it when I've had a bit too much sleep. It makes me feel sick and groggy. And no one wants to wake up feeling like that. It puts you in a terrible mood for the rest of the day, and you're not going to be productive. So it's all kind of like this massive circle. And also, being awake at night does feel weirdly isolating. I mean, I've never been a night owl myself, but when I have been up late at night, you do feel the sense of, like, I'm all by myself, and that's something that you don't need right now. So try and stick to a normal human wake sleep cycle. So my final tip would be to make a list of the things that you've been wanting to do but have been putting off because you don't have enough time, because right now all you have is time. Doing things that you've been putting off for ages will give you such a great sense of accomplishment that when you look back at this time, you can say you've done the things that you wanted to do. You can start that YouTube channel, you can start that business, you could start exercising, you could do all of these things. You could organise your cupboard. All of these things you've been putting off, you can do them now. See the glass as half full rather than half empty, and really use this time. And I think that will just really help your well-being, because you're going to know that you've been productive and that this hasn't been a waste, and it will keep you busy. I think that is like my main overarching tip, is to stay busy. Also acknowledge that you can feel upset about this situation. It is annoying, it is kind of crap. Don't get stuck in a fight with your emotions about being upset about being upset and thinking, oh, everyone's in the same situation. You need to also acknowledge that it is crappy as well. With all of that being said, I do hope I've made some kind of sense. I really hope that you're all staying safe, honestly, and I hope those of you who are affected by the virus, that my thoughts and my prayers are with you, honestly. This is a horrible, horrible time, and I can't even imagine what some families are going through. To anyone who's working on the front line, thank you. So I hope this kind of helped you guys a little bit. Don't forget to like this video if you liked it, and subscribe, that would be amazing. Until next time guys, I'll see you later.